$6,700, right? $6,700, right? Now stop. Yeah, let me stop fucking around. No, yo, what's up to y'all? You know what I'm saying? You there before Thanksgiving, you know a nigga finna eat. I'm saying finna eat on these videos, and I'm finna eat in real life. Feel me? You know what I'm saying? Definitely shout out to y'all. Y'all been showing so much support and love. Mars fam, we going up, we going crazy. Feel what I'm saying? The giveaways next month, we doing our thing. I'm sick and I'm still pushing out these videos. You know what I'm saying? The grind don't stop. This video is 50 Cent versus his son. Without further ado, we're gonna get straight into it. You feel me?
You ask yourself how long, a complicated question would say, how long can you love something that don't love you back? You see, so in this experience, you look and you say, I didn't think success would cost me my firstborn.
Now, I want to talk about this recent story that's been going viral involving 50 Cent and his son. 50 Cent's son, Marquise Jackson, recently went viral for making a statement during an Instagram live session. He was having a conversation on live with two other people, and Marquise said the following.
It's $6,700 a month.
Okay. And I can't buy socks?
$6,700 a month in the state of New York City. You do the math.
Oh, I done the math. I've been in child support, bro. I went to jail for it.
Talking about somebody that has problems with everybody. You can't just live in any neighborhood. 81K is not a substantial lot of money. You're talking about you got beef with everybody in the industry. You can't just live anywhere.
That's cap. That's cap. That's a free 81K a year. That's a free 81K a year. So y'all wasn't even in New York at the time, and he buy y'all a crib, and then he buy your mom's Range Rover and all that. So it's like, I don't know if you telling a full story for everybody to be on your side, but then you was doing other interviews like you want to speak to him. This is not the way to go about it. This is not the way to go about it. The way to go about it is find somebody that knows him, and I'm pretty sure you can do that, and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I realized, you know, how I acted towards him was wrong. The things I did, you know, was wrong. It was out of hurt. It was out of, you know, to be spiteful. You know, I just want to have a man-to-man talk with him. It's not about money. It's just about how we can, you know, build our relationship. But you went the route that was definitely not going to push him in a way to wanting to talk to you. So
he's contributing $6,700. That means your mom's got the other half.
Right.
It ain't just for him to fucking take care of you. He giving up $6,700. Where's her $6,700 to go with his? Now y'all got $1,200, $13,000 a month.
Oh my! If I told you right now, right, you got to start your life over right now with $6,700 a month and rebuild your life.
Yes.
Can you do it?
All right, let's just cut it there. I can't believe what I just heard. $6,700 a month is very good money, especially if you're 26, like Marquise. He turned 26 the other day, by the way. So the money 50 Cent's 26-year-old son was receiving was child support money. I don't know if he's still receiving the money, by the way. From the research I did, he's either still collecting child support money or it's about to stop real soon. That's beside the point. 50 Cent's son made these statements and now he's getting all this backlash for it. Instead of focusing so much on what he said in regards to the $6,700 a month, let's take a trip down memory lane and let's talk about why 50 Cent actually doesn't like his son, because they've had a very public and tumultuous relationship. 50 Cent one time said the following in relation to the complicated relationship he has with his son.
Like, I'm going places where he was at, he left.
Fifth, you love your son?
I used to. You ask yourself how long, a complicated question would say, how long can you love something that don't love you back? You see, so in this experience, you look and you say, I didn't think success would cost me my firstborn, but it's the situation. It's like my grandfather would say, if rather like a snake, if it's slither like a snake, is it a snake or do you need to be bit? Right? And that's the Aiken, South Carolina, and this the country, she'll say. And what he keeps saying.
I know 50 Cent mentions his grandfather a lot. You could tell he definitely taught him a lot.
Is every time you see the boy, he's show up with somebody you got a problem with. What does that day?
So you heard what he said at the end, right? Every time you see the boy in relation to his son and he shows up with someone you got a problem with, what does that tell you? 50 Cent one time made a statement about his son that he got a lot of backlash for. 50 said if his son got hit by a bus, he wouldn't have a bad day. Now, you're probably wondering, why would 50 Cent say something like that about his son? Well, 50 dropped that comment on an Instagram post back in 2018 where his son, Marquise, was posted up with the son of Kenneth Supreme McGriff. Kenneth Supreme, also known as Preem, is one of 50 Cent's longtime rivals. How they became enemies, we're going to talk about that in a second, but just know that Marquise was posted up with Preem's son, knowing the extent of the beef Preem had with his father, Curtis Jackson.
I don't want to keep pushing, but my opinion on that is like 50 Cent's from the streets and he's old school. And me, I know a lot of people that come from that era and that, you know, them years. Is like he's a person that's been hurt a lot. So it's like when it comes to certain shit, he has to, you know, show a lot of aggression. He can't really show too much, you know, like he can't be really too sentimental. He gotta put on his, you know, tough, you know, coat and just thug it out. You feel me? So I feel like was out of hurt. That was out of hurt of him saying that. That wasn't something he probably really felt. But who knows? You know what I'm saying? 50 Cent is a person that moves off loyalty, love, and respect. You know, who knows if he really meant that.
Jackson. On May 24, 2000, a then 24-year-old 50 Cent was outside his grandmother's former home located in South Jamaica, Queens. Outside his home was someone waiting for him in a car, and sometime after 50 Cent had entered the car, an assassination attempt was carried out on 50 Cent's life. As 50 was sitting in the passenger seat of the car, a gunman pulled up and he started shooting. 50 Cent was hit 9 times, one shot pierced his cheek, another reached his hand, and the 7 other shots hit his legs and thighs. 50 Cent was rushed to the hospital. He ended up surviving and was eventually released from the ICU 2 weeks later.
Cause he got hit like I got hit, but he ain't fucking breathing.
On his classic 2003 record, Many Men, 50 Cent claimed that Daryl Hamo, who was a close friend and bodyguard of Mike Tyson, he claimed that Hamo was the shooter. In the Bible it says, what goes around comes around. Hamo shot me. 3 weeks later, he got shot down, 50 said. Now it's clear that I'm here for a real reason, cause he got hit like I got hit, but he ain't fucking breathing. I can't say that line like a damn civilian. Come on now. On June 10, 2000, a little over 2 weeks after the assassination attempt on 50 Cent's life, Daryl Hamo got shot to death. A gunman walked up on Hamo at the corner of Quincy Street and Marcy Avenue at 1:40 a.m. in Brooklyn. The gunman fired a single shot in the back of his head, and Daryl died on the spot at the age of 34. Daryl's brother Tyrone also got gunned down over 3 years after his brother's death.
Yeah, that was definitely
They were both killed by Damon Hardy,
one shot to the head. That was definitely
a known gang member who was the leader of Cash Money Brothers. That was a criminal enterprise based out of Brooklyn, New York, which was started by Damon himself and his brother, Myron Hardy. Damon Hardy is currently behind bars serving 6 terms of life imprisonment. He was convicted in 2015 for orchestrating 6 different murders and running a drug organization during the late 90s and early 2000s. Generally speaking, it's always been known that Hamo, who got killed by Damon Hardy, was the person who pulled the trigger and tried to take out 50. However, in 2005, federal investigators who were conducting an investigation on Kenneth Supreme and Murder Inc. stated that Preem was the one behind the assassination on 50 Cent's life, and he was the one who was behind orchestrating this hit on 50 Cent. An investigator by the name of Francis Mace in 2003 stated that investigators believe that 50 Cent getting shot on May 24, 2000, that was supposedly revenge for 50 Cent dropping the song Get a Quran, which came out in the early 2000s. 50 Cent on multiple occasions on his record name-dropped Kenneth Supreme and spoke on the crimes him and his drug organization were carrying out. Now mind you, they were all known criminals at the time, so 50 Cent didn't snitch. However, you speak on a gang member's crimes on record, and they're probably gonna have an issue with it, and so that's what the investigators claimed. They claimed that there was a possible conspiracy between Kenneth Supreme McGriff and some of the employees at the label Murder Inc. to assassinate 50. 50 Cent refused to cooperate with the police after the assassination attempt on his life. 50 at the time claimed that it was a low-level drug dealer who shot him, and he died 3 weeks later. That person was allegedly Hamo. In 2009, Shaniqua Tompkins, 50 Cent's ex-girlfriend, mother of Marquise Jackson, filed a $50 million lawsuit against 50 Cent. Shaniqua filed this lawsuit claiming that 50 Cent promised to take care of her for life, and so she tried coming for his assets. This lawsuit was eventually dismissed by Judge Carol Edmond. The judge stated that it was highly unlikely that a then 21-year-old 50 Cent, who was broke, would agree to something like that. The lawsuit was eventually dismissed and 50 Cent was ordered to pay $80,400, which equals to $6,700 a month in child support for years to come. On May 30, 2008, 50 Cent's Long Island home ended up burning down in what the fire department called a suspicious fire. According to reports, 6 different people were inside the house at the time of the fire. Both Shaniqua and Marquise were amongst those inside. They ended up making it out unscathed. Shaniqua made some hefty allegations against Fifth, claiming that he was behind the fire. 50 Cent then made a statement in response through his attorney, Brett Kimmel, and called those claims outrageous and offensive. On June 20, 2008, 3 weeks after the fire, 50 Cent filed a $20 million defamation lawsuit against his ex, Shaniqua, for the claims she made against him. Along with that, 50 Cent's attorney also filed a visitation petition, alleging that since the fire had taken place, Shaniqua was deliberately preventing him from seeing his son by not revealing the location to the new place they were staying at because, their house had gone up in flames. 50 Cent's lawyer also stated that Shaniqua had allegedly cut out Fifth from his son's life. The trouble in the relationship is driven by the anger and hostility that's coming from her, his lawyer said in relation to Shaniqua. Shaniqua back then doubled down on the fact that 50 Cent was behind the fire. "This is my child's life. This is our lives," Shaniqua said. During that same period, Shaniqua filed a restraining order against 50 Cent. The restraining order entailed that 50 Cent could only pick up and drop his son off at curbside during visitation. 50 Cent during that time publicly spoke on a separation he was going through, describing it as tough. After the fire had taken place, the loss in communication affected 50 a lot. In Fifth's own words, "I like to be able to just see my baby," was his response. I look at this 50 Cent story involving his son and I see a father who's just disappointed. 50 Cent is not keeping this energy with his son for no reason. 50 Cent clearly looks at his son like an op, because that's how he's moved in regards to 50 his entire life. I think there's a lot of resentment on 50's part too, because not only does he feel like his son is entitled, but his son turned out to be the complete opposite of 50, at least in terms of having a spirit of hustle. A lot of the feelings Marquise has towards his father probably stem from the fact that he was unfortunately...
That's how I felt too when it comes to the situation. He look at his son like, yo, you could use me for motivation, and to see that his son is moving so entitled and, wants basically handouts, I guess he feels disappointed by that,
used as a pawn in the legal battles between his mother and father 50 Cent. His mother unfortunately did what no parent should do, which is weaponizing your child against your co-parent. That's what they call parental alienation in psychology. Parental alienation has a lot of negative psychological effects on children, and a lot of those psychological effects most times do actually get carried over to adulthood unless it's treated with something like therapy. One thing it does is it leaves the child puzzled as to why they still feel love towards the parent even though the other parent doesn't like them. So if one parent projects their hatred for the other parent by using the child as an outlet for that hatred, the child is eventually going to grow up resenting that parent because that's what they've been taught to feel towards them their entire lives. And that's something I think is very relevant to this Marquise Jackson situation. This is the kind of thing that needs years of therapy to get over. So the feelings Marquise has towards his father 50 Cent makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, I think his mother failed him because his entire life he's witnessed his parents going at each other, one conflict after another. Like I said, he was weaponized in the legal battles between his parents, and that's obviously led to a very dysfunctional relationship between him and his father. From 50 Cent's perspective, his son has just done too many things that have broken his trust. One of them was, of course, being posted up with Kenneth Supreme's son. Anyway, 50 Cent and why he doesn't like his son. Marquise Jackson recently made some comments about how $6,700 a month isn't enough to live on. That sparked a lot of outrage on social media. Instead of just speaking on that, by the way, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the history behind this tumultuous father and son relationship. Do you have any thoughts on his story? If you enjoyed this video, obviously click on that.
Definitely shout out Blackie Speaks. My opinion before this video, before I end this video, is he just needs to show 50 Cent that he got the hustle in him. He's willing to work, and he's not just all about wanting a handout, and that'll show 50 Cent that he's serious, I don't think it's just the entitlement part. He sees that his son has no type of hustle at all. I'm pretty sure he would have been willing to make his son, a path to make some money, but with that path, with the whole sneaker thing, his mom's messed that up. I see for his other son, he got the whole liquor thing going, Sire Spirit. So, shout out to, his son, shout out to Uncle Murder. I fuck with Uncle Murder. Shit like that. I don't think that he'll ever be cool with his son. I think this is something he probably's taken to the grave to show him like, yo, you crossed me, ain't no coming back, And he chose his side. And as as he's getting older, he probably realized what he did was wrong and realized that his mom's messed up his relationship with him. But it's like at the same time, he don't want to herself because he's still on that side of the fence as of right now. But with that being said, love is love, and I'm gonna catch you on the next video.